There you go.
Hi.
Hi, Michaela. How are you today?
Good. I was a little bit tired, but what was it? I had a Red Bull.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it's Monday, right? I mean, it's always every Monday.
Monday kind of calls for Red Bulls. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. There you go. That's so cool. That's so cool. Like, normally, how many Red Bulls you will take? Like 1, 2?
One. If I did more than one, oh my goodness, yeah, I could not have more than one Red Bull. It's like how what was it back in the day? Everybody was drinking 5-hour energy drinks. I don't know if you remember that at all. But it was that knocked you out. And you always have like the sugar crash after. So I can totally understand that. It happened to me several times though. Yeah, we make our mistakes and we learn from them.
Totally. It's like the work, especially if you are like working in so if you have like a night shift and then you feel like a little bit tired, you're like, I'm gonna drink 2 Red Bulls, and you are like super hyped up in a way that like your coworkers will tell you like, dude, you need to stop, and you'll be like, no, I'm good. And then like a couple of hours later you will be just crashing in the couch.
You just crash and burn later on. Absolutely.
Like, I want to go to bed right now.
I love it.
Yeah, it happened several times. A lot of them actually. But anyway, well, welcome back. It is
it's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's so cool here. So before we start, the drill here, I need to give you an epic, proper, badass welcome for someone as awesome as you. So, you know the drill. Here we go. Hey.
Yeah. Awesome.
I love it. I just realized that it's kind of the signature now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
If I could enter a room every time and that just kind of naturally happened, that
would be cool.
I'd be solid. Yeah.
Like a sensor. Yeah, like you will be having like these sensors on the doors. So whenever you enter, it sounds like that. And whenever you're leaving, the same way. So you'll be like, "See you soon," and you will leaving.
And then they clap me out. Yeah, I like that. I think I might implement that in my home. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice actually. Yeah, interesting. Huh. So, tell me, what's new since our last interview?
I am still, as I call it, a little bit of a misplaced actor that I think we talked about before. Oop, my phone is slipping. There we go. Whee! Haha. That at the beginning of the pandemic, I started working in insurance, and that's still what I'm doing. But now at my company, I'm also a trainer, so I'm training people in how to do insurance work as well, or how to be a customer service rep for insurance. Never a world that I thought I'd be in, but it's very fun.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm still submitting auditions and going to class. I've got a couple of classes that I've been doing right now. I just started a really wonderful scene study class with the Barrow Group here in New York. If anybody watching is in New York, they've probably heard of the Barrow Group before. And it's a really wonderful kind of conservatory program. I have a lot of struggles with phone balance today, but I'm going to keep my hand on it. And then also taking a lot of dance classes.
There you go.
And one thing that's been different since the last time we talked is that now a lot of auditions are starting to come back in person. So how it works now is that I will end up submitting for something online, and then the callbacks or the audition request will come in typically for a live audition. And that's what's been kind of weird. I have to check it after we get off this call, but I just saw an audition request come in just now.
Cool.
And yesterday I had one of my first in-person callbacks, and so that was really fun. I cannot say how it will go, but if for some reason I get it, you'll definitely see me post about it.
There you go. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you're gonna kill it. That's for sure. I mean, we all know that.
Oh, thank you.
You're gonna kill that for sure.
It was really fun, and it was really nice to be in a room full of people and to sing for people live and in person again. There is nothing like that feeling. Oh, also, since we last talked, Broadway's back.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's been a really cool thing. I've seen a lot of Broadway shows recently.
yeah, absolutely. And tell me, like what was like the first feeling to be performing again in front of an audience?
I've gotten to get up on stage and do a couple of cabaret events. I actually have one coming up this weekend too.
Yeah.
So I'll put that little plug in there. I'm performing at a place called the Brooklyn Bowl on Sunday, and we're performing the soundtrack music from The Big Lebowski, that movie. So that's going to be really fun. I am going to be working on some of that music later tonight as well. But I have to say, like, being up on a stage again and performing for people, watching you live and in person, is kind of something that almost brings me close to tears, I suppose. Hello, dogs outside.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's all good. But no, it's something that kind of brings me close to tears because it's just like, for live theater and singing live and live performances like that, it is so much that relationship between the performer and the audience.
Totally.
So getting to have that again and getting to maybe do a funny song and hear people laugh, like actually hear their reaction. So much of this past year has been me filming a self-tape against a backdrop and thinking, okay, I hope this is funny. And then maybe showing it to a friend and watching the friend laugh at it. But to be in a room full of people and actually hear them react, hear them clap again, you don't realize how much you just miss that.
Yeah, and I bet also it did happen that, I mean, yeah, I assuming that it also happened that as like there was no pandemic at all, you know, as time never happened, we were continuing with the regular stuff, you know.
Yeah, kind of. It kind of feels like now that everyone has kind of realized how much we just can't take this kind of world for granted, especially with live performances and live theater. I've seen just any concerts that are happening right now, it's like people are jumping to that. They just want to be there. They want to be involved. They want to experience things again. Yeah. Every Broadway show that I've been to right now has been like sold out because people are just so thrilled to be there and watch a show again.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I think that it also taught us that, as you just mentioned, that we were like taking like things for granted, you know, and the fact
absolutely,
that,
yeah,
everything's now open, and even like going to a restaurant feels like totally different now, you know.
Yeah, I know. Another big thing for me that I was telling somebody the other day is before the pandemic happened, I feel like a lot of the time I would go to auditions, but it was much easier to say, oh, let me skip out on this one. Let me just wait here. Things will come later. I am so much more of the mindset that I'm never missing a single opportunity. And it's been that, and also like just convincing myself to be more of a dancer as well, which worked. The callback that I had yesterday was from a dance call, and that kind of surprised me. It's just kind of one of those things that I'm like, whoa, you called me back because you liked my dancing. That's kind of cool. So I've always categorized myself as a singer who dances. So to go into something where they saw me dancing first and then wanted to see more from me, I was like, wow, this is a really, really great feeling.
Yeah, totally. How amazing is that? And tell me, like, how has been like the whole audition process now that everything started to open? Like, was it hard kind of to get used to that again, or?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like the big joke between everybody that I meet at auditions that were going in and performing and everything, we're all just kind of like, okay, we're a little bit rusty. And for a lot of us, as I said, we've been doing the self-tape kind of auditions, kind of like what I'm doing here, that I would put up a backdrop behind me and have a camera, and I would just sing to the camera like this. But it's different. Also, the big difference with self-tapes like that is you can do it as many times as you want and then send them your perfect tape, which is a little bit of a danger in and of itself. Now we're kind of having that world again where you go to a live audition and you have that one shot and that's it. So that's kind of the part where I think a lot of people are feeling rusty. Sometimes I've gone into some of these and I'm like, whoo, hope the sound comes out today. And so far, so good. It's all just been there and come out for me. But it's a lot to try to get used to again. It's very different.
Yeah, totally. And what were some of the things that you learned during the whole self-tape the self-tape process here?
Not to be too hard on myself, I would say. That's something that was really, really easy to do because I would watch back. I would look back on a take that I did and gone, okay, well, that note kind of sucked. Or what are my eyes doing there? Why did I look off in this direction? What kind of acting choice is that?
Yeah.
And then it would be like 12:30 at night and I'd go, oh, okay, I have to tape it again. I have kind of missed the world of just going in, doing what I do, showing them what my skill set is, and then leaving and just leaving it all to fate at that point. Yeah. Instead of just hyper analyzing myself and criticizing every little thing. But it's also kind of a weird world where at the same time, if I watch back on a self-tape, I can kind of be like, interesting, okay, this is what other people see. This is how they see me when I walk into a room. And I didn't always get that before because I didn't do nearly as many self-tapes.
Totally, yeah, that's true. I like during this whole the whole interviews that I have, like a lot of people like will have told me that this whole self-tape is dangerous because it will take hours and hours and hours. And even I remember one who told me that what she does is that she only have like 3 chances. That's it. So that way she kind of focused to have like those 3 chances, because otherwise it will take hours, and if they have something else to do, it's ruined. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a really good mentality to have with it. I've kind of told myself before, I will say like, okay, this is my last take, and I'll just give it my all, and then I'll look back at it, and I have to recognize myself. This is where I am on this day, at this moment in my life. This is the best that I can do. This is all that I can put forward right now, and I should be proud of that. So that's kind of something that I've had to keep at the back of my mind for this whole process.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I understand. That's why I don't make like TikTok video stuff like that.
Oh my gosh,
like
TikTok's terrifying.
I don't like it. I need to redo it again. So I'm like, one take, whatever happens, that's it. Go.
That's kind of how my TikToks are. I'm just kind of like, here you go. Here's a little something. I'm done.
It will take ages. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, like we will see on your Instagram like some performances now, but tell me, like, what were some of the challenges that you had at first when you started to go back on stage?
I think it goes back to really just kind of being rusty. One thing that I've commented on with myself too is that I kind of feel like a whole different person now, a whole different performer. Yeah. I think that this whole past year has kind of aged us all 5 years mentally. Yeah. And I think that that's how I perform now. I've kind of had to come to this recognition that my stage presence is different now, and the way that people perceive me is different. And it's kind of been like a huge experiment. Yeah. Just getting up on the stage, and I feel much more comfortable in myself, I would say. Yeah. That's always something that we kind of grow into, but I feel like this whole past year kind of propelled a lot of young performers into that.
Yeah, it's true, right? Like, even though that it's been like just 2 years, it feels sometimes that it's been like more than 2 years, you know?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't remember a day that I didn't go outside wearing a mask, you know?
Yeah.
And then I take the train a lot of places again now, which that was something that a year ago I was terrified of getting on the trains again. Now I get on the train all the time, but I would probably have a panic attack if I had to get on a train without a mask. It's just how it is now.
Yeah, I think that is one thing that is like the next problem. I mean, what I think is that masks are going to stay for a very long time.
Oh, me too. I totally agree. And I think they should.
Yeah, totally. Like, the other day I was having this conversation with with a friend of mine, and we're talking about that this whole hygiene process, you know, that they were doing it now. That when you go to a mall, they would put you, they would give you like gel and your mask, like all of that stuff is great. And I totally agree that once everything is back, you know, like COVID is finally gone, we should continue like doing this, you know, because I think also COVID taught us like how bad our habits were, you know.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Hygiene, you know.
The big joke that I always make is pre-pandemic, I don't know if I told you this last time, but I'll tell you it now. I actually used to wear a mask every single time I got on an airplane. Because since the air on an airplane is so stagnant, I would end up getting to my destination and I almost always got sick. And as a singer, I was just like, I really can't afford this. So I always wore just one of the little blue masks on a plane, and I would have to explain to people, no, I'm not sick. I just don't want to get sick. And so now I'm kind of getting on planes and looking at everybody, and I'm like, now I'm not the weird one. This is great. So, but it was weird because I was back in the day, like 2 years ago, I was the only person wearing a mask on the plane.
Yeah, I think, I agree on that. Yeah. It is so interesting, right? That a couple of years ago, I mean, if you would see, it was super rare seeing somebody on the street wearing a mask, you know?
Exactly.
Super rare.
I remember that kind of at the beginning of everything, I was trying to find a cloth mask because since I wore them on airplanes all the time, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I could just get like a cloth mask? I know a lot of countries in the East actually just wear them on a regular basis, and they did before the pandemic. Like Japan and China are pretty big on just wearing masks on the regular just because of the air quality. And so I was like looking over there, like, can I get a cloth mask from over here? At the time, this was like January 2020, and I couldn't find anything. And then 2 months later, like all I could find were cloth masks everywhere. And I was like, what? Well, okay, I got my wish in a really roundabout, crazy way, I guess. So.
Totally. But you know, also like another cool thing here is that like you will see so many cool designs from masks, you know, like they're like,
oh, they're so awesome.
Yeah, I've seen so many awesome designs here and there, and I'm like, what? That looks so cool.
Oh yeah, there was one that I was looking at that is like lace with flowers on it, and I'm just like, the creativity that people have just really jumped forward with is incredible. It's really, really awesome, and I think in a weird way, it's a good outlet for some artists in the world too.
Yeah.
And a wonderful moneymaker, like if you put them on Etsy or something.
Yeah, I was talking with my father the other day, like why we were not in the mask business like 3 years ago.
I know, exactly. Yeah, you would have been making bank now.
Yeah, totally. But I guess things happen for a reason. But yeah, it's so interesting. This like how COVID taught us that we were kind of that maybe we were having like a little bit of issues with our health, you know, with habits, you know, and all of that. So the fact that now that masks and they will give you like the sanitizer, your temperature. I mean, I do think that they should continue with that because you never know, you know. And also,
and also, I mean, this thing is not eradicated, so. I think that's going to be our future for a while, which, like, good. I hate people breathing on me and sneezing on me, so they can all stay away and check their temperature at the door. Yeah. But I also, I don't know about you, but I haven't really been sick since like March of 2020, and that's kind of a weird feeling.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't been sick since 2019, and the reason why I was sick is because they gave me like the vaccine for this disease. I don't remember the word in English, and I felt sick
for the flu.
No, it was so basically when you cut yourself with a metal,
Oh, tetanus.
There you go.
Yeah, gotcha.
So they gave me that. So they gave me that shot, and I felt horrible. I did went sick for a while, and that was the last time. After that, nope, not a single time.
Yeah, well, because we all wear masks now. I just always want to be like, wow, it's like mask work. But I was sick March 2020 because I actually had COVID before really knowing what it was. But that was like the last time I was sick.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I guess like a crazy thing to last be sick with, knock on wood and everything. But yeah, I wear a mask everywhere now because I'm just like, nope, nobody's touching me.
Yeah. You know, I'm wondering like how the whole nightclub scene is gonna be now with masks. You know, I'm still wondering.
Ooh, I know that some nightclubs are back, even here in the city. That's something that I still kind of refuse to go do. I'm still a little anxious, but I do know that they exist and you can go. So,
that should be interesting.
Yeah, as long as people are safe about it, you know.
Yeah, that's that's the thing. Yeah, that is why I don't like to go sometimes to nightclubs too. I mean, even before the pandemic, though. I mean, even though whenever I was going to perform or so, I was performing and then going home because I hate crowded places, you know, in which you need.
I am the same way. Yep.
Things, so.
It's a little too crowded, sweaty, hot, everything. It's everything in a nightclub I don't like.
Yeah, totally. That's why I was, you know, going, performing, having a good time, having drinks, go home.
Yep, and just saying peace.
Yeah,
bye.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally gotcha.
Yeah, that's so bad. Now, going back a little bit here. So, from the characters that you have played at the moment, tell me, like, what are some of your favorite ones?
Ooh, this is a good thing to look back on. Yeah. I will say right now, I seriously miss getting to be on a stage, and I've had some opportunities, or like getting to be in an actual musical or stage production, and I've had a couple of opportunities to do so, but I've kind of been waiting for the right moment. Because there's a lot of factors of having to leave the city again and just figuring it all out with my job and everything. But at the beginning of the pandemic, I actually got to do a very fun virtual production around this time of year last year. And we did the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah. Did I ask you about that one?
I don't think we talked about it last time because it's not on my resume. I need to put it on my resume. But I had a lot of fun. I filmed all of it, and it was spliced together as like a video production. And it was really, really, really good. And that kind of fueled my creative juices that I was missing at the time. And also, I love Rocky Horror. It's such a great show to be doing at Halloween here. But other than that, some of my favorites still, right before the pandemic, more Halloween shows, I guess. I loved getting to do Young Frankenstein, the musical. And I did a show based on a Bible story. It's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay.
Which is a fabulous show, and for both of those, I got to play some of my absolute dream roles in them. I grew up watching a lot of Mel Brooks movies, and I loved Young Frankenstein, so getting to be in that was kind of like a full circle moment. And the same with Joseph, wherein that was one of the first musicals I ever saw. And I really looked up to the part of the narrator in Joseph, and then I got offered to play the narrator. And that was a really, really meaningful moment for me because, to be quite honest, I didn't even have to memorize any of the lines. I already knew them. I knew that whole show since I was 10. And so I was just like, okay, I'm off script, off book. I am ready to go. And the whole show is like an hour and a half long, but for the narrator really, really intense because she never really leaves the stage. So that was a really cool experience for me, and also a good test of my own stamina.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
How cool is that? I love that. Now, from all of your different performances, what are some of the, like, what is kind of the, what are some of the highlight moments that you had so far?
I think it kind of goes back to something that I was saying earlier, that I really enjoyed that relationship between the audience and the performers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this kind of thing, getting to hear after a show how I made somebody feel. I've had some really, really nice moments in that. Yeah. Also, for some of the shows that I've done, when I've done a little bit of children's theater, there is actually nothing quite like how much a kid believes in the show that you're doing. And this is a testament to any actors who've done a lot of Disney shows or something, and the kids come up dressed as the princess, and you talk to them like a princess too. The arts are so meaningful and formative for kids. And I don't know if a lot of people realize that, because I know for me growing up, I still remember how certain shows and certain moments meeting actors made me feel. Yeah. And so I try to keep that in mind when I'm doing the same thing. If somebody is meeting me or they had a moment that they experienced in the show that I was in, that meant a lot to them, and I get to share that with them.
Totally. How awesome is that? Now, a couple of minutes ago, you mentioned Halloween. So tell me, are you one of the are you one of those who like Halloween? Do you usually have fun with it? Like back when you were a kid, did you went like trick or treat? Like,
oh my gosh, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing how I was as a kid. I always talk to people about this because I didn't really follow the pattern of a lot of kids my age. I grew up as a kid in the 90s, but my Halloween costume choices were very suspicious. I think most little girls my age were like, I want to be a princess, or I want to be a pumpkin, or something cool. I specifically remember one year where I was not a character, just my own made up character, that I was a Vulcan lieutenant from Star Trek.
Okay.
That was a bad one. And then the next year, I had like a series of Pokemon years that I dressed up as. I was like Cubone one year, and then I was Wartortle of all Pokemon the next year. Yeah. And everything else in between. I was a mermaid one. I was a mermaid one year. I do remember that, and a Powerpuff Girl.
There you go.
But nowadays, up until this year, I've often been traveling and doing shows kind of during Halloween. So I don't feel like I've truly experienced it in a while, but I'm kind of looking forward to maybe getting to go do something this Halloween. We've been my friends and I have kind of been searching of different events happening in the area, and I'm plotting what I'd like to wear. I have one Halloween-ish costume already because the concert that I'm doing this weekend, we are all dressed as characters from The Big Lebowski, and I am singing a bit of opera in that concert, so I'm dressed as a Viking. So I do technically have a Halloween costume, but I'm searching for something else that I want to be on Halloween. So that'll be the surprise.
Yeah, okay. I can't wait for that. That sounds really cool. How cool is that? Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Halloween. I do have to say though, and anybody watching this either now or later will probably think that I'm just the worst for this, but I know there's the big argument that for a lot of people, Christmas starts after Thanksgiving. I'm not that person. I like to optimize my Christmas time as much as possible. So Christmas for me is like November 1st. So I'm pretty bad about that. But that gives me like 2 full months of Christmas, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I can agree on that too. Yeah. All the holidays are cool. The only one that I have that I don't quite like is Valentine's. I hate Valentine's.
I can understand that. Valentine's can be kind of a hit or miss.
I mean, like back in like 4 or 5, yeah, like 3 years ago. I remember. I mean, I hate it because I just hate it. It's just so annoying that suddenly there's like love everywhere, and I'm like, come on, let's be honest, like for a second, I have a friend of mine that he has like his wife now, and they basically hate each other, but in every holiday festivity they just love each other. It's like love everywhere, and the way they speak and the way they treat each other, it's like, oh, that's so cute. But because he's my friend since childhood, I know.
But it's not year round.
Yeah, I know what happens behind the scenes, and they hate each other. And he tells me like every Valentine's they will go to this restaurant, and it will be like all sweet and kindness and picture here, picture there. But he hates it. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of the same thing. Plus during that time everything is expensive, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, but probably that's the only one that I'm kind of a little bit Grinch on it. I'm like, ugh. You know?
I think what comforts me about Valentine's Day is when the candy goes on sale the day after.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's what I'm always here for.
Yeah. Because I don't think that you need one day, like Valentine's, to express how much you care for your loved ones, you know? Like,
absolutely. That should be a year-round thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
So probably that's the only one that I'm like, ugh. But the rest of them, yeah, I do enjoy them a lot. I mean, Halloween back like here, we have we have like another festivity, you know, like the Day of the Dead we have here.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course, since we are so close to you guys, and like we still have like Halloween parties here and there. But now that I remember, I never went. I think like only 1 or twice back when I was a kid. We went with some friends for some treats, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that only happened like once or twice though. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I do like it because I love to scare people. That's like my hobby. I mean, back in my previous job, I was just scaring everybody, you know, like every single time. And I just love that.
I've never gotten to be like a scare actor before, but I do think it's something that I would enjoy. I would like scaring people, but I would hate being scared, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the worst when they scare. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's part of the whole experience, right? I mean, if you scare people, eventually somebody is gonna try to get you, you know. So
that's true. If you prank people enough,
is that you will start to, once you realize that at some point you are gonna get scared, you are like more on the lookout, you know, just like looking everywhere, like
you're super on edge.
Yeah, but yeah, I do like to scare, and also it's super cool that whenever it's Halloween, like all the movies they will have, you know, like a Halloween special, and they will release like all type of horror movies or in Christmas ones, like the favorite ones, you know, like the classic ones. I love. Yeah, I think that is one of the things that I love about the holidays, that they would put like the classics, you know.
Oh, me too. I need to sit down and just watch a bunch of Halloween movies before it's too late.
Totally. Yeah. Or when it's Christmas, you will watch all the Home Alone movies, you know.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, that movie is like the movie for Christmas, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. Now, tell me, like, what's your goal? I mean, from every performance you will get and every character that you have to play, like, what you try to achieve in each performance?
I think I can take something different out of every role that I've played and every performance that I've done. Yeah. I find that each is kind of its own learning experience. I think if I look back on every single character that I've been on stage, there's something different that I took away from it. And I also think ultimately it just helps me grow as a performer and as a person. So usually when I get a new part and a new role to play or a new performance to do, I kind of look at it that I'm like, okay, what can I take away from this? And in a selfish way, that I'm like, how can this help me grow and become a better performer? But then on the other end of it, I'm kind of also thinking, how can I best present this to my audience? What are they going to react to? What is going to resonate with them? So yeah, that's really kind of what I take away from it. But in the past few years, literally almost every role that I've played has been incredibly different. And that's kind of a cool feeling that it's not like I've gone in and just played a bunch of roles that are exactly the same.
Yeah, totally. I think that, I mean, for me personally, I think that my favorite one will have to be the one in which you were the dragon.
I loved playing the dragon, but that was quite different than anything else I've done.
Totally.
And yeah, and that was totally different than anything I had. Oh, I just knocked something over. That's okay. Than anything I had done before and anything that I've done since.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever play anything quite like the dragon in Trek again, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, let's make it trendy. If at some, yeah, let's make it trendy here. Like, let's make a hashtag to make sure that you will get like more dragon roles. That would be
yes. Well, I grew up just loving dragons. I don't know. I was one of those dragon obsessed kids. So getting to play a dragon on stage, I was like, absolutely, heck yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Or maybe one day you will do like the motion capture for a dragon.
Ooh, that'd be cool. I could be like Smog.
Yeah, something like that. That would be so cool.
That would be awesome. I'd love something like that. I could be the next like Benedict Cumberbatch, except it's me instead.
Yeah. Did you watch that video like behind the scenes, like the way?
Yeah. All the motion capture stuff.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
It's a really cool technology. I'm amazed by it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, let's hope. Yeah, I do hope one day that we will have like more dragon performances.
Yes. Okay. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Trust me on that. Now, what do you think it's important for new actors to know when they are preparing a character for a role?
For one, we're living in quite a different world, so preparation is different nowadays than perhaps what they learned in college or before college.
Totally.
And it's just something to honestly be grateful for and to just not take for granted. Everything is an opportunity. And I do see a lot of young actors, not to make it like a sour note, but I see a lot of young actors that go into things just thinking, well, you hired me, you need me, and they exude confidence, which can be a good or bad thing because at the same time, it's good to recognize that everybody is replaceable. And kind of exuding an air of, yes, confidence in your own skill set, but being humble and having gratitude for just being there and being in, as they say, the room where it happens. Takes you a lot further in this business. And then as far as preparing for the role, I had somebody say this to me recently and I completely agree with it. It's just learning how to bring an element of yourself into every character that you're building. I don't subscribe to the mentality that there's a world where we're just playing a character that is completely unlike us and we're putting on this whole facade. I think no matter the character, and I've played some pretty off the wall characters, but I think that the best performances come with finding how you can relate to your character and putting an element of yourself into that role. I say that like I've even done Sweeney Todd before, where I baked people into meat pies because I was Mrs. Lovett, and that's not something that I would really do, but her quirkiness and the fact that she was totally in love with Sweeney and everything, there are just little things that I could grab onto in her that I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate to this stuff.
True. Yeah. Or also, if you are looking, or if you're looking for a way to prepare yourself for a role, you can watch my podcast, since I have like a lot of information in regards about techniques and everything about.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the thing here. Just promoting my stuff here.
But, just put that plug right in there. I love it.
Put it here on the board. But anyway, now from all of your different performances, like which one has been like the deepest learning curve? I mean, like the performance that you learned the most lessons from.
I think, oh, that is a hard one. I've got two that come to mind. I think we had talked about this role before, but when I was in Disaster, and I played a nun with a gambling addiction.
Yeah.
There was a lot of elements to that role that were super, super tough for me. It was vocally a very taxing role.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to do a lot of things with my voice that I had never done on a stage before. So that was hard in itself. And then it was the fact that I'm a pretty boisterous, dynamic person. And this character that I was playing was super understated. And a lot of her humor came from the fact that she was very dry and lackluster as a person. So she'd just say something and it was hilarious because it was just flat. And so that was kind of a new experience for me because I had kind of been used to a lot of the style of comedy that was just like, and then this is this ridiculous joke, haha. And that's not who she was at all. She would just say something and be like, well, like almost like Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh. She'd be like, well, I guess we can do this. And it was hilarious, kind of that kind of feeling. Yeah. So that was a really difficult role for me to play. But I ended up loving it, and I would play that role 50 more times if I could.
That's so cool.
And the other one was probably when I did Rock of Ages. Because that I kind of had to learn how to be really comfortable with myself. I played a stripper of all things, and super not me as a person. So I was just kind of like, okay, let me learn kind of what I'm doing here. Learning a whole new skill set, basically. Any role that kind of makes me have to learn some kind of base skill that I've never done before is difficult at first, but a good new challenge.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, right? That whenever you're acting, that you will get the chance to play somebody like totally way different than you, and at the same time you can learn something out of it, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. That's what that's kind of what I said earlier too, that it's just like there's always some sort of takeaway, and then I can go back and look at these things that like when I played the dragon, that I put on my resume too, like now I have some puppetry experience because at parts of the show I was puppeting a giant dragon head. So there's always something that's kind of constantly building my resume. Yeah,
totally. Which I'm super sure that you should have got, I don't know, like an award or something for that dragon performance.
Maybe one day.
Let's hope. Now, like, what are some of the things that motivate you or get you back up so you can continue pursuing your acting career? Because I think that during the pandemic too, but also it happens, right? That sometimes you will just not feel good about it, and regardless what happens, you will be having like these minions in your head telling you that you might just quit and just find something else, you know, like something stable, like something different out of it. So I wonder, like what gets you out of that mentality to be like, no, I'm just gonna continue.
Literally any small bit of goodness that can happen. It's been an especially difficult year just because performers in general, we kind of will go through dry periods where it's like you have a show and a show and a show and a show, and just everything is just hitting and is so successful and this and that and the other. And then you suddenly don't book anything for a year. And that happens to a lot of people. But we all kind of got forced into that kind of period with the pandemic. And the thing that I've said a lot now is that because nobody is working, everybody's trying to work. And that's kind of the period that we're in right now, that no one really has an acting job currently. Very few do. So we're all just submitting our auditions. We're all just trying to get out there. We're all just trying to get people to notice us. And that's been really difficult in the fact that there are some times that I sit here and I'm thinking, nobody is watching me. Nobody is seeing this. And then suddenly somebody will email me and be like, hey, can we call you in for this? And those are the bits that I hold on to, that suddenly I'll get one of those emails and I'm like, okay, that's really validating. That means that I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Thank God, you know, so, and that's how I felt like, I had a call back yesterday and I was in there and, you know, singing and dancing for them and everything. And I'm going to hold on to that for a bit. Next time I feel kind of down on myself, like, oh my gosh, why am I still doing this? I'm going to be like, I had that really good call back a couple weeks ago and I'm not going to forget about that. So things like that.
Yeah, I do get it too. Yeah, I do get it that those little moments are the ones in which you feel like, okay, I'm gonna continue.
You just gotta hold on to them. And I have kind of said before to younger performers too, that if you truly want to work in this business, you will, in some capacity.
There you go.
It may take a while and it may not be in the way that you expected, but you will work.
Yeah, and you know, also I think that like, I mean, at least it works for me, that whenever I will feel like that, I will kind of stop a bit and be like, okay, what I have done this past few months, you know, like to see like all of what you have done lately in regards to what you love the most. Then that kind of relieves me a little bit and be like, okay, I mean, this is just temporary, you know. Like there's always, and you know, it's so interesting because whenever you will say like, I want to quit that, like instantly out of nowhere, boom, something pops and you're like, I think I'm gonna stay for a while, you know, like
exactly, that's how it goes.
Why that happens, like, but I've heard like a lot of times it happened to me too, that whenever I would say I quit or whatever I'm doing, suddenly boom, something pops.
Yep, exactly. Or it always happens to me too, that I'll go into something and I'm like, that audition kind of sucked. And then that's the one that like gets me work and I'm going, what? Okay. I felt very off today, but it's always kind of a nice surprise.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's like, it's basically getting like a job, like an interview for a job, you know? One of the things that I would always be is like whenever they would tell me like, hey, how was it? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Yeah, I mean, if I say it's good, it might be bad. Even if I say bad might be good. So I don't know. I mean, if they call it good, and if they're not,
exactly.
I guess, you know,
that's exactly it.
Now, what can we expect from you in the future?
I hope more of this with things like some of the callbacks that have been coming up. I hope to be on a stage again very, very soon.
Cool.
And not just in small one-night events. I hope to be in the run of a show for 3 or 4 months. That would be amazing. And then I'm also trying to get a bit more into TV and commercial work. So hopefully, fingers crossed, some moves in that area. Yeah.
I'm super sure that you're gonna reach all that. I mean, as I said in our last interview, if someone is talented and awesome, that's you for sure. And if someone is gonna be able to make it at some point, that's for sure it's gonna be you.
Thank you so much. Well, definitely like keeping all the good vibes in the universe for that. It's a hard business, but I'm definitely not anywhere done with it yet. So
yeah, there you go. That's great because I do. I mean, at the end of the day, I've said it in some of my episodes before, but I do think that actors, you know, musicians, like YouTubers, streamers, gamers, like whatever, like all of those talented people who are following their dreams, I do think that they deserve like a huge shout out. But especially you guys, actors. I mean, you guys go through hell a lot of times. You will go into how many rejections in one day, like a lot of crazy jobs here and there, a lot of moments in which you don't want to do it, but you have to do it in order to continue, working, to continue building your career. So I do think that at the end of the day, you guys actors are kind of living proof that dreams come true, you know, because we the audience, we will only see like the success you guys have, you know, like we will see you on the big screen.
An actor will never talk about everything in between. That's very true.
There you go.
Actors tend to put their successes out there, but there are maybe 100 failures for every success that people don't get to hear about.
Exactly, that's the thing. And also, like, whenever they will say, like, we will see this actor or actress in this big movie franchise, and then you will start to hear comments like, oh, this guy came out of nowhere, or, you know, like something like that.
There's something that built them up to that that like, we don't know about.
How many, like, all of the hard work that person had to do in order to reach that point, you know? So
absolutely.
It is very important that we give you guys like the proper shout out here, because at the end of the day, you're humans too, you know. And the fact that you have to deal like with so many rejections here and there, I mean, yeah, it must be bad and it must be horrible sometimes, but regardless, you still continue doing it. And that's
just keep moving forward. That's all that we can do, for sure.
Yeah, that's very badass. That's really important here. Now, before we're done here, now one of the things here, since we're in the whole Halloween stuff, you know, like, tell me, is there like any, like, have you ever experienced any like paranormal stuff or whatever?
Yeah, actually.
Share it.
When I was a kid, I was one of those kids who sort of did some creepy stuff. And I was actually talking to my parents about this recently, and my dad, in the middle of the conversation, mind you, like, I have a very religious family and everything, so it was kind of funny to hear him say this, but he was like, I think you might be a medium of some sort. And I went, are you serious? But there are a couple of times for different events. It started with, we had a family dog that passed away. And here's your little Halloween morbidity for anybody watching, but, you know, spooky stuff. That's my spooky spoiler warner there.
There you go.
Warning. But no, when our dog passed, it was a weird thing because I was like 9 or 10 and I couldn't sleep that night. And I was insistent. I was like, something's wrong. I can't sleep. I don't know. And it turned out that our dog really needed us in that moment. And because I was awake and keeping everybody else in the house awake at like 2:00 in the morning, it meant that my dog was able to have somebody with her. And whenever she passed on and everything, my mom came in to tell me, and she was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know. And I said, I already know. She told me. And my mom was like, who told you? And I said, Lady did. That was the dog's name. And my mom was like, okay. I said, yeah, Lady said that she's all right and she's just moved on now. And my mom was like, this is a lot right now. And I've done that a couple more times. As a kid, I think I still get inklings of these intuition feelings now, but as a kid, I would say things to my parents like, don't go out today. Don't leave the house today. It's just very strange stuff that they were like, and they believed me. They were like, okay, you're right. So, but as far as like ghost stories, not a lot, except this does tie into acting. I worked in a theater in Illinois, and I hope that somebody who worked at that theater with me goes back and watches this, because they're gonna go, ha. But the actors housing, for a lot of regional theaters, they house the actors somewhere around the theater. And they housed us there, but they housed us in what used to be the town's children's hospital. And that is about as terrifying as you might imagine.
Yeah.
The main things that I remember there is like, there was a fireplace on the lower floor there, that had like toys on it, like children's toys.
Okay.
And the only very suspicious thing that they told us was, don't move the toys, whatever you do.
Oh my god. Okay.
And we were just like, cool. What? And then there were certain rooms in the house, not my room, thank God, but there were certain rooms in the house where there were like chills or a pressure on the bed, like somebody sitting on the bed next to you. We had kind of events like that, and also a basement that I'm gonna say this now because we were not supposed to go into the basement, but I went into the basement. But there were like painted children's handprints all over the walls.
That's even more creepy. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah.
Yep. So that's my Halloween horror story to leave you with tonight.
Creepy though.
It was really kind of horrifying. And one night when I was there, everybody else in the house went on a weekend trip up to Chicago or something, and I was basically left alone in the house. That was like the worst night of sleep I've ever gotten. I was just like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to do that. There was one other guy in the house with me, and I made him go around the house with me and check everything because I was so terrified.
Yeah, of course. After seeing that, I do agree. Like every kind of paranormal stuff with kids, oh Jesus, it's like,
oh yeah,
it's just the worst. That's so creepy. Yeah, I do think, that's creepy.
No, it was terrifying, but it's a good theater. I love the theater, but anytime anyone has asked me about working at that theater, I'm just like, this is the housing. Have fun. So you just have to be kind to the ghost. Bye, have fun. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so creepy though. Yeah, I never had like any. Yeah, I never got like any encounter. Like paranormal stuff. But one time, I think that I saw, I don't know what kind of animal it was, either if it was a monster or not, but like super quick here. So at that moment, I was in Germany, and I was in this exchange program. So one night, I was returning from my German course, right, and I was on the bicycle. It was, I think, January or December. I mean, it was like a lot of snow going. But anyway, so I was returning home. And then during the whole returning home, there were two ways. One, you could go around, and it was kind of the safe way because it was all lighted and everything. It was pretty cool. But it took like a lot more because you had to go all around it in order to get where I live. Or the short way, which it was kind of in a kind of a middle creepy street, and then right in front of you there were the woods, but you will have to turn left. But anyway, so I was just going there and then listening to music when I was riding, and then like I don't know, like a couple of meters away from me, there was this huge thing. There was this huge thing, but that thing was looking through the woods, right? But he was huge, or thing, whatever, and it was like super huge. He was not moving, and of course, that I got scared because he was not moving, but it was clearly that it was something or someone or whatever, right?
Oh my gosh.
So what I ended up doing is that I remember that I grabbed my bicycle and I flip it over, to kind of to go like the other way, to be like, no, I'm not gonna go that way. I'm just gonna go back and
Yeah.
So the moment I'm doing that, and then I start to to pedal, like super slow because I didn't want to. The moment I'm doing that, then I hear this weird noise, and that thing goes straight back to the woods. So I went super scared. So when I reached home, I was with some friends of mine, and then I was like, dude, this happened to me. And he was like, what, really? And I was like, yeah, this happened to me. Let's see it. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna see it. You're crazy. And then he was like, come on, man, let's see it. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But what if we do it with the car? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that would be safer. Yeah, all right, let's go.
Right, not a bike. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went with the car, and then we were like in front of it, like in the front of the path to the woods, right? And then I remember that then this guy went out of the car, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay inside. And then he was like, why? And I'm like, haven't you watched any horror movies? I'm gonna stay inside. So I closed the door, and I was just inside of the car, be like, whatever, something happened to this guy, I don't know what is gonna happen. But then I remember that his face went all like white, like all super scared, and I was like, what is going on? He went back inside, and then he was like, let's take a look. And there were some footprints, And that footprint we saw, that it was something that I can't. I mean, there was no animal to it. And I remember that when we saw that, we were like dead scared. We were like, no, we need to go.
I would have been horrified. That's like a cryptid kind of situation.
Yeah, we were like, no, this is, yeah. I was like, nope, I'm going. And that was like the only thing that I kind of have like paranormal stuff, I think.
We'll leave all your listeners with some really good Halloween stories tonight.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, we will have like a Halloween special soon. We will have like some horror stories here and there. So stay tuned. And again,
awesome.
Michaela, again, thank you so much for being here. I mean, at the end of the day, if someone is super awesome and talented and badass, it's always you. It is super cool to have you back here. I can't wait to see more of your awesome content in the future. I'm super sure we will see you as more involved into acting stuff and more movies, Broadway shows. I mean, and a lot of stuff, because you totally deserve that, and you're a badass. Now, if someone would ask me, like, what do I think about your career, or how could I describe you, I would only say one thing, which is, there you go. I would say that.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, and I watch too much anime. I've heard that like in every anime.
Yeah. Now,
it's amazing.
Now, because we finished the questions here, I need to give you an epic shout out. So that was for level 2. And again, thank you so much. Also, thanks so much for those who tuned in. If you're watching this later on YouTube or listening to this later on the podcast, make sure that you follow Michaela on all of her social media. Normally, what I would say is for you to put pause, then you can, leave a like, subscribe. It takes 1 second. And then hydrate, follow Michaela, leave a million likes, support her content, share, spread the word that we have this amazing talented actress here. Make sure that she gets more dragon roles in the future. We really need that. And again, Michaela, thank you so much. Keep having an amazing rest of the day, evening, week. And I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.